Sister Susan was taking her daily walk around the convent when Father Michael noticed she seemed to be gaining a bit of weight. He smiled and asked, "Sister Susan, are you gaining a little weight?" With a mischievous grin, she replied, "Oh no, Father. Just a bit of gas." A few weeks later, Father Michael spotted her again and couldn't help but notice that she had indeed put on a little more weight. He chuckled and asked, "Sister Susan, it looks like you're gaining some weight." "Oh no, Father, just more gas," she laughed, clearly enjoying the joke. As time went on, Father Michael saw Sister Susan's pushing a baby carriage around the convent. Curious, he leaned in to peek inside and saw a sweet, sleeping baby. He smiled warmly and said, "What a cute little gas cloud you've got there." Sister Susan burst into laughter, realizing that her playful secret had finally come to light. On a bright and beautiful Sunday morning, the small town of Johnstown stirred early as its residents made their way to the local church. Before the service began, the congregation sat in their pews chatting about their families, their lives, and the latest town happenings. Suddenly, in a flash of fire and smoke, Satan himself appeared at the front of the church. Chaos erupted as people screamed, scrambling over one another in a desperate rush to escape. Within moments, the church was empty, except for one elderly gentleman who remained seated, completely unfazed. Perplexed, Satan strode up to the man and sneered, "Do you know who I am?" "Yup, sure do," the man replied without a hint of fear. "And you're not afraid of me?" Satan pressed. "Nope, not one bit," the man said casually. Now thoroughly annoyed, Satan demanded, "And why the not?" With a shrug, the old man leaned back and said, "Been married to your sister for 48 years. Sean and Liam are craving a pint, but they only have €1 between them. Sean takes the coin, heads off, and returns with a sausage. Liam stares at him. "Are you mad? Now we're completely broke." "Trust me," Sean grins. "Just follow my lead." They stroll into a pub, order 2 pints and down them before paying. Then Sean unzips his jeans, sticks the sausage through and whispers, "Get on your knees and pretend to, you know." The barman explodes with rage and throws them out. After pulling the same trick in 10 different pubs and knocking back 10 pints, Liam groans, "I can't keep this up, my knees are killing me and I'm hammered." Sean sighs, "You think you've got it bad? I lost the sausage 3 pubs ago." A teacher asked Johnny, "What does a chicken give us?" Johnny replied, "Eggs." "Very good, Johnny." "Jessica, what does a sheep give us?" "Wool." "Very good, Jessica." "Robbie, what does a cow give us?" "Homework." Apparently, Robbie has his own seat in the principal's office. One day, a woman walked into a doctor's office, looking rather determined. She approached the doctor and said, "Doctor, I need you to help me with something very important." The doctor, always eager to assist his patients, replied, "Of course. What seems to be the problem?" The woman leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I'd like you to make another hole down there." The doctor, taken aback, looked at her in surprise. He had heard many unusual requests in his career, but this one was quite unexpected. Trying to remain professional, he asked, "Why on earth would you want that?" The woman smiled confidently. "Well, business is going really well, so I thought I'd open another shop." Little Johnny wanted to go to the zoo and pestered his parents for days. Finally, his mother talked his reluctant father into taking him. After several hours, the two men of the family come back, smiling and tired. "So how was it?" his mother asked when they returned home. "Great," little Johnny replied. "Did you and your father have a good time?" asked his mother. "Yeah, Daddy especially liked it," exclaimed little Johnny excitedly, especially when one of the animals came home at 30-1. Morris had passed away. As his lawyer stood before the gathered family, he began reading Morris' last will and testament. "To my beloved wife, Esther, I leave the house, 150 acres of land, and $1 million. To my son Barry, I bequeath my big Lexus and the brand new Jaguar. To my daughter, Shirley, I leave my yacht and $250,000. And to my brother-in-law, Aaron, who always insisted that health is more valuable than wealth, I leave my treadmill." A newly married Liam goes to meet Father Charles. He greets the priest and says, "Father, I need to talk to you." The priest asks, "Is it a confession, my son?" Liam replies, "No, Father, I need to clarify something." The priest takes Liam to his private chamber and says, "Tell me, Liam, what is it?" Liam asks, "Father, why do some women try to change men after marriage?" "My friends keep teasing me about it." The priest smiles and replied, "Liam, my son, as the bride walks down the long aisle, she excitedly registers 3 stimuli: the altar, the choir, and the sound of the hymn being sung. Aisle, altar, and hymn. She becomes mesmerized. Aisle, altar, hymn. Aisle, altar, hymn. Aisle, altar, hymn. And finally, as she stops beside the groom, she is already saying to herself, 'I'll alter him.'" Kevin gets a new secretary. A few days later, his wife learns of this new hire, and so he faces a volley of rapid, suspicious questions. "Emma, Kevin's wife, does your new secretary have nice legs?" Kevin, "Didn't quite notice." Emma, "What colour are her eyes?" Kevin, "Haven't had the time to check." Emma, "What are the nail polish colours she uses? Metallic, gel, or neon?" Kevin, "Not a clue in the world." Emma, "Does she have a local accent?" Kevin, "I barely spoke to her, so don't know." Emma, "How does she dress?" Kevin, "Very quickly." Kevin's funeral will be held on Tuesday. A man is stranded on a deserted island for 10 long years. One day, to his astonishment, a stunning woman in a swimsuit emerges from the ocean and walks toward him. She smiles and asks, "Tell me, how long has it been since you had a drink?" 10 years, he replies. Without hesitation, she reaches into her swimsuit and pulls out a bottle of whiskey. The man eagerly takes a swig, savoring the taste of civilization. She then asks, "And how long has it been since you smoked a cigar?" "Again, 10 years, he says. With a sly grin, she produces a fine cigar and a lighter. The man lights up, exhaling with pure satisfaction. Then, with a mischievous look, she slowly unzips her swimsuit and leans in. "And now," she purrs, "how long has it been since you've had some real fun?" His eyes widened in disbelief. "No way," he gasps. "You've got a PlayStation in there?" My spouse and I went through the Burger Barn drive-thru, and I handed the cashier a $10 bill. Our total was $8.75, so I added a quarter. She looked puzzled and said, "You gave me too much." I explained, "Yes, but this way you can just give me $2 back." She sighed and fetched the manager, who asked me to repeat the request. I did, and he handed the quarter back, saying, "Sorry, we don't handle it like that." The cashier then gave me $1.25 in change. Moral, don't try to confuse Burger Barn. Our garage door broke, so we called a repairman. He said the issue was the motor size. I told him we had the largest model when we bought it, a 1/2 horsepower motor. He shook his head and said, "You need a 1/4 horsepower motor," I replied. "But 1/2 is more than 1/4, he countered. "Nope, 4 is larger than 2. We've never called him again. Living in a semi-rural area, we recently got a new neighbour who called city services asking to move the deer crossing sign down the road. Her reason? Too many deer are being hit by cars here. This isn't a good spot for them to cross. My daughter went to a Tex-Mex place and ordered a taco. She politely asked for minimal lettuce. The employee apologized and said, "We only have iceberg." At the airport, while checking in, an attendant asked, "Has anyone put anything in your bag without your knowledge?" I replied, "If it was without my knowledge, how would I know?" He nodded and said, "That's why we ask." The crosswalk near my office beeps when it's safe to cross. An acquaintance asked, "Do you know what the beeping is for?" I explained, "It helps visually impaired people know when it's safe to cross." She responded, "But why would blind people be driving?" She's a government employee. When we picked up our car from the dealership after a service, we were told the keys were locked inside. In the service department, we saw a mechanic working intensely on the driver's side lock. Watching from the passenger side, I tried the door and found it was already open. "Hey," I said, "it's unlocked over here." The mechanic replied, "Yeah, I got that side already." One morning, a wife finds a note from her husband on the fridge. "My dear wife, I'm sure you'll understand that as much as I love and appreciate you, at 57 years old, you can no longer fulfill certain needs of mine. You are a wonderful wife, and I value you deeply. Therefore, I hope you won't take it the wrong way when I tell you that I'll be spending the evening with my 19-year-old secretary at the Comfort Inn. Please don't be upset. I'll be home before midnight. With love, your husband." That night, when the man returned home, he found a note waiting for him on the dining table. "My dear husband, thank you for your honesty about my age. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that you too are 57. As you know, I teach mathematics at the local college. So while you're reading this, I'll be at the Hotel Fiesta with Michael, one of my students and the assistant tennis coach. He's young, energetic, and, like your secretary, 19 years old. Since you're a successful businessman with excellent math skills, I'm sure you'll appreciate that we are in the same situation, except for one small difference. 19 goes into 57 a lot more times than 57 goes into 19. So don't wait up. I won't be home until morning. With love, your wife." It was the end of little Lily's very first week of school, and she was not impressed. She stomped into the house, plopped her tiny backpack onto the floor, and crossed her arms with a dramatic sigh. Her mother, trying not to laugh at Lily's serious face, asked, "How was school, sweetheart?" Lily threw her hands in the air. "It's a disaster. I'm just wasting my time." Her mother raised an eyebrow. "Oh, why do you say that?" Lily huffed. "Because I still can't read, I still can't write, and they won't let me talk." Her mother bit her lip to keep from giggling. "Well, honey, you've only been there for a week. Learning takes time." Lily wasn't convinced. "Pfft, I thought school was about learning stuff. But so far, all I've learned is how to stand in line, how to sit crisscross applesauce, and how to be quiet. I'm very good at talking, you know." Her mother nodded. "Yes, I've noticed." Lily continued, pacing dramatically. And another thing. They keep making me share my crayons. My crayons! What if I run out of blue? What if I need blue? I love blue. Her mother sat down next to her. That does sound serious. And don't even get me started on nap time. Lily threw herself onto the couch. I never feel sleepy when they want me to nap, but the second we start math, boom, my eyes want to close all by themselves. Her mother finally let out a chuckle. Sounds like you've had a very rough week. Lily nodded dramatically. The worst. But, she paused, I did make a friend. Her name is Sophie, and she has sparkly unicorn stickers. And she says she'll trade me one if I bring her a snack tomorrow. Her mother smirked. Lily, are you making snack deals in kindergarten? Lily grinned. Shh, Mom, it's called business. Her mother shook her head, pulling Lily in for a hug. Well, Miss Businesswoman, I think you'll figure school out just fine. Lily sighed. I guess I'll give it another week. But if I still can't read by Friday, I'm gonna need to speak to the principal. Her mother laughed. Deal! A visitor from Texas recently came to stay with me. For 3 days straight, all I heard was, in Texas, we have the best this, the biggest that, the fastest whatever. On and on it went. After a while, it started to get pretty irritating. Being from Niagara Falls, I figured I could finally impress him with something Texas couldn't outdo. So I took him to see the breathtaking power of the falls, knowing full well there was nothing in Texas that could rival this natural wonder. As we stood at the edge, watching millions of gallons of water thunder over the falls, I saw the awe in his eyes. Seizing the moment, I asked, So do you have anything like this in Texas? He paused for a moment, then smirked and said, No, but we have a plumber who could fix it.